There we go, the fish on.
Louisiana redfish at its best.
Rooster on the Wild Coast.
Florida Keys bonefish on the Hobie.
This week, we continue our journey on the ultimate virgin fishing area in Panama, a lush rainforest coastline, where the only way to fish is from a Hobie. Welcome to the Wild Coast of Panama. Last week on Hobie Outdoor Adventures, the Hobie crews arrived at the campsite of Panama Kayak Adventure and started fishing. The conditions were not ideal, but that didn't stop them from having an amazing time.
So we brought the punga up last night for the second night in a row because the surf's been really, really big and sketchy, and we almost lost one of the boats on the first day, so let's get out there.
It's day 2 on the Wild Coast of Panama. The swell is still very big, so they decide to take a little bit of a gamble and make a 1.5-hour run all the way down to a bank that's known for holding black and blue marlin.
The area we're fishing is one of the top 3 marlin spots in all of Panama, so it does get some traffic, and it's pretty cool. It's a pinnacle that comes up anywhere from 90 to 150 feet, and then surrounding that area, it's about 200, 250 feet. This is an opportunity for us to use live bait for the first time on this trip.
Unlike other places, we don't have a live well to hold our live bait, so we actually have to make bait while we're out there. So we're using small jigs, cast into these shoaling bonito, and then we're freshly hooking them right onto our marlin gear. So we did that. We had some bonito action, we bridled up the bonito on the rod and began trolling.
Here we go. So I'm sitting there jigging around, and all of a sudden out of the left side of my eye, something catches, and I look, and it's a giant manta ray. It is not scared of the Hobie. I mean, it's swimming up there, just kind of cruising around. I think it thought maybe I was one of its buddies, and it was just gorgeous to see. It reminded me of, you know, a couple of elephants cruising through the bush in Africa. These big placid creatures are just, you know, swimming through the water, and the way that they flap their wings kind of reminds me of how our Mirage Drive system works. You know, there's very little resistance as they glide through the water. I'm a very lucky guy. I get to kayak fish a lot, and I've kayak fished in a lot of cool places, but I have never experienced seeing giant manta rays swimming right underneath me on the kayak. And that's one of the best things I like about kayak fishing. It's not only the fishing, but when you get there on your Hobie, you're pedaling around, you just never know what you're gonna run into. All right, back to fishing. So I cast out my jig and was working it back, and I hooked into a bonita, and it felt like a little bit of a bigger bonita. I was, you know, taking my time getting it in, and all of a sudden it just gets thumped. Now I have a little Williamson jig with a 1/0 treble hook on it, and something has eaten my bonita, and it has taken off like crazy. Oh my, what do I have here? I see it. No. Shark. So identified as a shark, I'm bringing it up to the kayak, and I'm thinking big teeth. This is where it gets a little bit hairy, you know. I'm bringing this shark up to my kayak. I'm way out there in the middle of the ocean, and this is where you gotta be really, really careful. It's got a bite mark on the side. That skin is so tough. So this is a female, Pascal says, because of the bite marks.
Good job!
I was super excited. I was waiting for something to erupt from the ocean. I had no idea what I had hooked, but I knew I was using a 4-pound bait. And when I finally got color, I saw that it was actually a hammerhead shark. And this is on a kayak, and it's actually the first one I've ever caught personally. and I was hanging on, but at that point we knew what the species was. It wasn't our target one, but it was a really cool, unique catch out there on that pinnacle. Cut me off clean on the leader, so gonna have to deal with that if we're trying to use live bait to get these cubera, but that's just part of the game. One of the things we noticed out here on this pinnacle was the amount of life in these big bonito schools. Now what you see on the top is just a few breaking fish, but if you had looked from an overhead bird's eye view, it's actually a giant shoal that's circulating around here, and those fish are feeding while predators come in from other angles trying to ambush them from the sides and below. It's really some National Geographic type fishing out there.
To book your kayak fishing trip of a lifetime on the Wild Coast of Panama, please go to PanamaKayakAdventure.com. Hobie Outdoor Adventures will be right back after these messages. Hobie Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Gerber Fishing Gear, Fish Beyond. Lorenz, Find, Navigate, Dominate. Power Pole Micro Anchor, Swift, Silent, Secure, and Small. And by AFTCO, American Fishing Tackle Company. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. Well, we are fishing on the Wild Coast, one of the most secluded coastlines of Panama. Morgan, Ross, and Sam spent most of the morning fishing live bait, targeting marlin and cubera, but didn't have any success. So they made a quick run to a new location.
We're just waiting to see which way the current's going here before we dump the boats in. Ross is going to catch a rooster fish. Yeah?
I'm ready, buddy.
That guy who lives on the beach right there, I have no idea how he gets in and out, because that swell always looks pretty big. We moved inshore, the water's green, fish are not biting. I mean, I made 30 to 50 casts where I was like, you know those casts you make when you cast right into that perfect spot and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a fish on this one. Make a couple of twitches and just nothing. The fish moved offshore, that greener, colder water must have pushed the bait out. We gave it a good try for about an hour. Once again, dealing with big surf, then we decided, hey, let's run outside a little bit deeper, use the Lowrances, because the jigging technique has seemed to pay off for us with this bigger swell running. Cute little fish. Bye. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fish right here, Ross. There you go. So another little fish, another little snapper, even smaller this time. Look at that. You kidding me? These snapper don't mess around. Another toothy snapper. Pascal, what kind of snapper are these? Yellowtail snapper.
Don't see any fishies.
The same size. That's a better one.
Nice.
Nice little fatty.
Pretty fish.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. There you go. Nice one right there.
I got some stuff holding at like 30 right here. That's probably the jacks.
Ooh, this is a nicer one, I think, unless I foul hooked him or something. Oh, pompano. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of variety here. Nice. Yeah, pompano on the Williamson. Look at that. Pretty fish. Okay, we got dinner. Sorry, buddy, but thanks. We're gonna eat you. Yep, another good fish right here. Oh yeah, that's a really nice yellowtail snapper. Man, that's the biggest yellowtail snapper I've ever caught. Some mean teeth on it. Mean little fighter. If they got just a little bit bigger, that'd be a crazy fish.
All right, I had enough time watching Morgan crank in all these fish and got another nice snapper right here too. Dropping down the Hobie Squino jig on them. Very unique. That's the biggest one today, I think, for me.
So we're hoping tomorrow, with the swell continuing to die, that this water clarity clears up. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Today was really fun. It's always enjoyable being out here on the Wild Coast and experiencing all this place has to offer.
Hey, fishing is always fun, but for most anglers, the anticipation while preparing the gear is just as exciting as fishing.
San Diego jam knot. Here we go. Put some 80-pound leader on here. Pascal gave this one to me, and he said it's gonna be a cubera killer. We have some Mustad assist hooks right here. These are good. These are some 7/0. I'll use those on my bigger lures.
This was successful casting into those boiling schools of bonito, and we're using for beta on the hump, but this is a great rod for popping. That St. Croix, it's an 8-foot, lots of backbone to pull those big roosters out of the shoreline. I know I've been fishing St. Croix since I was just a kid. I remember one of the very first rods I bought when I was probably 9 or 10 years old, saved up my money and bought a St. Croix for bass fishing and when I was back in the Midwest. And I still have it to this day, and I've always loved the brand and the product for a long, long time.
Stay with us. They're ready to put these lures into the works tomorrow. Hobie Outdoor Adventures will be right back after these messages. Hobie Outdoor Adventures has been brought to you by Hobie Polarized, trusted, quality, heritage. St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Rail Blaza, hold everything with Rail Blaza. And by Scotty, the way to fish. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. Well, it's the last day of kayak fishing here on the Wild Coast of Panama with Panama Kayak Adventure.
You know, it's day 3 here. I'm still toothless. Haven't found my $400 retainer that I lost on the first day. You know, all I've found is hermit crabs. So all I can imagine is one of these big hermit crabs has walked away with my tooth. So I'll interrogate a couple of them, but I think I'm going back to America, a toothless wonder. The swell was definitely the biggest on the first day. Died down a little bit on the second day. We were expecting it to get smaller on the third day, but it's come back up. That's gonna make it challenging for sure. Needle. Naughty needle. Looks like a good fish, Sam.
Oh, it's Ross's best friend.
My best friend.
This is another jack, but it's like a yellowtail. All right, guys. I want your chicken friend with the chicken on the front for you.
Whoa, sea snake. Heading your way. Yeah, he's after you, Ross.
Ah! Ooh! He's trying to get me!
Magnificent fish. They look really similar to the black grouper in Florida, but these are actually the broomtail over here in the Pacific. Be on your way.
Oh, Washinongo. I think that's a Washinongo. Also in the snapper family. Marking all kinds of stuff here on the bottom, and it's probably a lot of schools of these snapper. But look at that, gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Okay, buddy, I'll let you go. All right, triple. We got a Jack Crevalle, we got a broomtail grouper, and some form of red snapper, which I think is generally called a Washinongo, but that's our first triple of the trip.
Working this point, the swell isn't as bad here. There's a nice little break. Throwing that big epoxy jig right up on the rocks and got this beautiful jack.
There's one, not a very big one, but it's the right kind. What do you got there, Russ?
I got a small cubera as well.
It's probably the smallest one I've ever caught, but it's the right kind. Off you go, bad boy. All right, this is turning into a fun little spot. Trying so hard to find fish, we finally discovered a little hump out here that's just got a bunch of them. These aren't the giants that we've seen before, but still beautiful fish.
Very nice.
Hard fighters.
There's a cubera. There you go. That's my first cubera. And this one is going home for dinner. Yes. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Big eye jacks. Another beautiful fish. Croaking away. All right, buddy. Wow, that was a really fun little bite we found on that seamount. And without the Lawrences, we wouldn't have found that place without Pascal's guidance. You know, but we wouldn't have been able to stay on top of it and catch those fish. So guys, we came in for our little lunch break here on this perfect little beach. Perfect place to take a swim, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Cool off a little bit before we eat some food.
Stay tuned. Hobie Outdoor Adventures on the beautiful Wild Coast of Panama. We'll be right back. Hobie Outdoor Adventures has been brought to you by Plano. Protect your passion. Mustad, defining fishing hooks since 1877. And by O-Meals, changing the way you eat outdoors. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. After lunch and a nice break from casting and riding big swells, Hobie crews hopped right back on the Punga and are heading out for the last afternoon of fishing on the Wild Coast of Panama.
Look up.
All right, just got my first African pompano. I had to come to Panama to get it.
Nice little fight on them, and these are great fish to harvest. We've been enjoying them all week. Beautiful fish.
All right, Morgan.
I think it's a bonita.
You think it's a rooster?
A rooster bonita. These are really good for sashimi, so I think we're gonna keep that one, but pretty fish. Got that squish jig right in the corner of its mouth. All right, well, this fish has some attitude. Definitely has some attitude. Might be doing some spinning around, coming up right under the, there he is. Oh, what is it? It's a yellowfin tuna. Nice. This is kind of crazy. Look at that on the side of the yellowfin. Maybe a cubera snapper again, coming up with all that excitement. They're definitely, you know, showing us the way here, that they're around, but we haven't been able to hook one. Sorry, buddy, but you're gonna taste really, really good.
Nice one.
Yeah, that was definitely a great fight.
Everything out here is just completely new to me. We've got dramatic coastline, we've got this breaking surf. You can just feel the raw power of the Pacific out here. It's very humbling to see how isolated we can be and how beautiful this area is. It's relatively untouched by man, There's no convenience stores, there's nowhere to go to get a set of batteries. You're self-sustained out here, and we are taking in all of this beautiful scenery and catching fish at the same time. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Sam's getting his butt kicked.
Today is the last day. I have to go. I gotta get work done. But I have to say, before even this interview even started, I'm already planning a trip back. If that tells you anything about this place, if I want to come back and I have my opportunities of almost anywhere in the world, I'm coming back here.
You know, seeing those manta rays pretty much made the trip for me. We're out here to catch fish, but to see something that gorgeous out there in the water, I really don't care if I catch any more fish on this trip. It was just an amazing experience that I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Hey, thank you for watching Hobie Outdoor Adventures, and you can always watch all of our previous episodes at HobieOutdoorAdventures.com. We'll see you next week for a new episode of Hobie Outdoor Adventures.